Welcome to Be a Baller podcast, where legacy meets leadership. I'm your host, Coach Tim Brown. This is a place where we talk about faith, purpose, and the power of living a life that lasts. Today, I'm honored to sit down with a cousin. Shaniece Wise is a certified business expansion coach, strategist, national speaker, and best-selling author. As a CEO and founder of Wise, Armstrong and Associates LLC, Shaniece has helped more than 3,000 business owners expand their reach, increase profitability, and walk boldly in purpose. Her clients experience 60 to 100% growth within just 12 to 24 months. And we're going to talk about that a lot. And I know some of you all need to sign up. Shaniece is a powerhouse who has shared the stage with global brands and organizations from JP Morgan and Chase and Essence Magazine to the National Black MBA Association and TBN. But beyond the accolades, she is a woman of God, devoted wife to Stafford, and a proud mother of two boys, Brandon and Xavier. Today, we'll be talking about building a legacy through business, faith, and God's alignment, and how you can take your vision beyond success into significance. Get ready. This conversation is going to stretch your faith and sharpen your focus. Shaniece, welcome to Be a Baller podcast.
Thank you, Coach Tim, for having me. It's good to be here.
I had to get on you because I've been following your podcast. I mean, you've been on some other shows, and I was looking for the glasses.
Oh, you were looking for
the because
I know
you have those colored glasses, that match everything. So I was looking. I wanted to talk about that.
You want to talk? I know today it felt like contacts. It's been raining all day, and so I'm like, nah, I think I'm gonna throw the contacts in.
Because that's your signature look.
I know.
I want you to know that. That's your signature look. That's what people are looking for. That's your signature look. As you think about your life and family, and I know you're part of the Fields Wise family.
Yeah.
Can you talk about family and why that's so important to you?
It's really all I know. Growing up, just watching how our family operates. It's just, I love family. My family is, my best friends, and we travel together. And I just think it's the importance of legacy. I remember as a little girl with my great grandmother living at my granddaddy's house, and she died 2 weeks before she turned 102. And everybody always came to the house, and we always did things together. And then all the kids had kids and stories, and it just instilled something in me where I want my kids to have that. And so, praise be to God, the Fields legacy is continuing to live and to thrive. I tell people, if we had everyone at our reunion, it would be over 300 people there. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And a lot of people are like, goodness, how do you get your family to do what you do? And I just think that it's been instilled in us. So we instill it in our kids. But family is everything to me. Everything.
And knowing the Fields Wise family, you also know how important education is.
Yes.
There's all education just all through and through.
Yes.
Could you talk about why that's so important to the family?
I don't know. It's just one of the stories that I think about when I think about education. My grandmother, she used to clean floors, and she would save her checks. And that's how she put my mom and my aunt through school, and then my aunt, both of them they graduated from Kent, and my aunt went on to, have her master's, and she traveled the country, she was one of the top teachers and traveled with Bill Clinton. And so, President Bill Clinton. And so, education is important. It gives you the opportunity to be able to do, I feel like there's no limit to what it is that you can do. And it broadens your horizon. That's what I'm instilling in my 16-year-old right now, how important education is, which he's doing very well in school. And so I just think it's something that's built in our family as well. There's bachelors, masters, PhDs, high-level entrepreneurs. We are a family of many faces. But education is very important. I have 2 degrees from Ohio State, so very, very important.
And I know the other side of that is faith.
Yeah.
And we know how important that is to you. Could you talk about your faith journey? I know you're a minister now. You talk about your journey.
Wow. It's definitely been a journey. I ran from my calling for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
One of my mentors and leaders in ministry, Elder Jeffrey Phillips, he after a while he just was like, I'm not even gonna put it before you anymore.
Right.
And I think that time when he did say, Shaniece, I'm tired of chasing you. I'm tired of, you running. It was when the light flipped. And with ministry, I've always incorporated into business. My latest book is called Where Business and Faith Collide, bringing both worlds together. Um, Faith, my faith is important. I don't understand how you operate without it. But I did run from ministry as a minister for a very long time because I didn't know if I was truly called to do it. And the Lord just chased me down. And I was like, I need to be obedient, instead of running. But yeah, my faith, my grandmother instilled that in us, and my great grandmother, my grandparents, my parents, and so we do the same thing with our children. I don't know how you make it without having faith and believing in God. I don't know, especially in the day and age right now. And so, faith is important. All the things that you just shared is very important, but I feel like the number one is faith. And the Fields family is built on
Right.
our faith in God. Yeah, it's like the number one pillar.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
As an ordained minister and a business leader, how do you balance faith, family, and entrepreneurship?
Oh, balance. What is balance? Um, I don't know if I do balance it. I just, for a long time, I would put it in different compartments, but I'm in a season now where it all collides together. And so my business is faith based, and I tell people that even though I'm a business coach, I pray over my clients. If the Lord gives me a prophetic word, I give it to my clients, and so I tell anyone that is joining my business coaching program, if this does not sit with you, then there's other business coaches out there. But for me and my clients, this is what I do, and so I've brought both worlds together. But balance, Tim, I don't know if there is a such thing as balance. I just, I manage my time. When I'm coaching and, running my company, that's what I'm doing. When I'm with my kids and my family, I close that door of business, and I'm very present. But me being a minister is who I am. And so it's in every piece of what I do. And so I don't know if I used to try to put them all in separate boxes, but I don't anymore. It's just, I'm old enough and I've gotten to a place now where I'm like, this is just who I be. This is just who I am.
I heard that word collide a couple times already. So let's talk about that, your book, Where Faith and Business Collide. Can you talk about what was the vision behind that book?
So business owners, it was right after COVID, and business owners were coming to me and they're like, they're frustrated. They're ready to throw in the towel. COVID did a lot on our mental, and it did a lot on business owners trying to navigate and trying to figure it out. And it was almost like the Lord was like, I need you to write, because it's a 30-day devotional. And every day you're praying over a different aspect of your business. Well, whether it's opportunities, whether it's your finances, whether it's your mindset, whether it's your clients. And so in the book, every day there's a scripture, there's a devotional affirmation, and then there's a prayer and, an activity. And so it was written to encourage entrepreneurs and reminding them that God still sits on the throne, no matter what the world looks like. And that's why it's so important. I call it kingdom entrepreneur or kingdompreneur. That's why it's so important for us to be in that space where we can't operate like the world does, even in business. We have to have our spiritual eyes on. And so that book was written for business owners. You don't have to give up, but the Lord does desire more from us. And so praying over every aspect of your business and inviting him into it, because he wants to be involved in it. The Lord wants you to succeed as a business owner. But a lot of us are so busy that we forget to invite him in. And so every day it creates consistency and accountability on opening up your day, inviting the Lord in, sharing, learning scriptures, learning even how to pray over your business. A lot of times we just don't even know what to say or how to pray, but really there's a page on how to pray over the operations of your business, like really getting down to the nitty gritty of it. And so that book was developed from COVID, and now has a life of its own.
Speaking of that, how do you counsel business owners to navigate challenges without compromising their faith or integrity?
I mean, all money isn't good money. And that's what I tell them, and what glitters is not always gold. And so there has to be boundaries. There needs to be a strategy in place. Like who is your ideal client? Why is this your client? How are you running your business? Integrity. And so I say the biggest thing is all money is not good money. And that comes from a place of been there, done that. Okay. Where, I was in such a grind mode and wanted my business to run. And this is 18 years of being in business. So I've been in business for a long time, but, and a lot of different stories and testimonies to tell. But a lot of my clients are growing and navigating. And there's times where you have to push the pause button. How does this benefit me? And so just teaching them how to have a checklist on what's important for them. And every client is not a good client, And so just making sure that they understand the vision and the mission of their company, and making sure that they're bringing their faith inside of it. And so counsel them, mentor them. There are times where, they listen, times where they don't listen, just like kids, and then we have to circle back and just like, as a parent. And a lot of times the Lord just wants them to learn, and so all I can do is teach them and share my story and my perspective. And then what they do with that is definitely totally up to them, and no matter what, I'll be there for them. But a lot of business owners have to kind of learn on their own. Yeah.
Many business owners struggle with scaling beyond 6 figures. What's the first step you advise for creating sustainable growth?
Hiring a business coach. Of course, hiring me, but I would say a lot of business owners wait too long to hire help, and they try to do it on their own. And you can only go so far running a business on your own, because after a while you'll be tapped out, and you need someone who can focus on your marketing. You need someone who can do your administrative stuff. You need someone who's going to help you in the areas, because as a CEO, you need to be visible. You need to be out there bringing in the revenue. Right. And so if you're sending invoices when you should be out there speaking or teaching or coaching, then, you're just not going to go far. And so I can give you an example. One of my clients, I don't know if you've heard of the Mexican restaurant Dos Hermanos, Lisa Gutierrez. And so when Lisa joined my coaching program, she was probably about $1 million. She was doing all right. She had about 7 employees, and she was doing a lot on her own. And so in a 7-year time span, she's now a, $10 million company, 6 locations. And the biggest thing was she hired help, and we created strategies and systems. And now she has over 100 employees, and she has a management team. And so it may not be as big as that, but you just hiring an assistant to help you, And so one of the biggest things about scalability and what limits a lot of business owners is they don't hire help. And a lot of times it's because they don't think they can afford it, but they can't afford not to. Yeah. And so hiring help and understanding what type of help they need. So one of the things, Tim, I teach business. I don't teach industry based. You know what I mean? So I can teach any type of business owner, because I'm not telling them how to sell real estate. Okay. I'm not telling them how to, be an event planner. I'm not telling them how, to run their podcasting business. I'm telling them how to set up their business the right way so they can create longevity. And that's the first thing. If you want to scale, you got to hire help.
Well, that's powerful.
Yeah.
So you're not teaching me how to podcast.
No, I do. I have a podcast, so I do know how to teach you how to podcast. Right. But, that's just an example. Right. Yeah. I have clients that, are real estate agents. Right. I have clients that do, goodness gracious, do so many different things, therapists. And, I'm not teaching them how to run, how to be a therapist. Right. They're licensed to do that. But I am teaching them how to build a long-lasting company. Yeah, a company that will stand on where they can pass it down from generation to generation, because that's really why we're doing what we do.
So that's legacy talk.
Legacy talk. That's legacy.
You've been blessed to speak at major platforms like JP, Morgan Chase, Essence Magazine. What are some of the important lessons you learned from engaging with such diverse audiences?
That business is business. You know what I mean? No matter what the audience is business. And every business owner, no matter what industry, no matter the color of your skin, no matter, who you are, business needs to create revenue. And they need to learn how to run a business. And, especially like with bigger corporations, they do a lot of work in the community, and they like business owners like myself to come in and speak. And it is a diverse audience. And everybody in there wants to learn how to run a business, wants to learn how to create a business that's going to last and that's going to generate revenue. And so I would say just understanding business, that no matter how diverse the crowd is, it's still one goal. How can I create a business that serves me, that serves my audience, and that will last?
Wow. Well, you're making this thing plain.
I mean, it's simple. I think a lot of times as business owners, we want to create it, make it really difficult, but it's simple. The areas that business owners fail at is consistency and accountability. So when you get a strategy, when you get a plan of action, if you don't see what you want to see right away, you give up. I tell my clients the first 90 days is not going to show up for you right away. It spills over to the next 90 days. And then what you do in the next 90 days spills over into the next 90 days. So you're not going to always see what you want. And that's the importance of having faith in your business, because we walk by faith and not by sight. And as business owners, we are believing and trusting God that the work we're doing, we're going to get the clients. The revenue is going to follow. We're going to get the opportunities. And so that's really where business and faith collide, But yeah, business owners, I see it more and more, they give up. They give up really quickly, and we all go through seasons. I mean, the last couple of weeks have been heavy, for my family, and it could have been a season for me to give up and throw in the towel. But that's not legacy. That's not, staying there even when things don't, it's life, when things don't look the way we want it to look. But I do feel like this is a good season for business owners. It's a good season for you to use your gift to get out there to serve people. I just did a post today, and every day business owners should wake up and say, who can I serve today? Who can I serve today? Lord, put before me my ideal client who I can help make their business and their life better. You know what I mean? And so that should be our thought. But there's so many. I have another book called Activating Your Gifts, 15 Steps to Prepare for Entrepreneurship. There are so many business owners that are running the wrong business because they're not using their gift properly. And so it teaches you what steps you should take in order to identify your gifts that the Lord has given you and attach it to the right business. And so that's why you see business owners fail or give up as well, is because they're not really doing what they like, their passion or what it is that they desire to do. So I could go on and on, Tim. You got reel me in. I could keep going.
This is good stuff. The audience needs to hear. That's why I have you here, to share this. You're also the founder of, talk about this Unstoppable community. I just love the name, Unstoppable Community. Can you tell us how this community supports entrepreneurs in practical and spiritual ways?
Absolutely. Let me tell you how I got the name. And so my downtime with me and my family, we love Marvel characters. Okay. And so we were thinking about like, what would our names be if we were, Avengers or, and so I came up with the Unstoppable one. And then I thought about, okay, what does unstoppable mean, Shaniece, to you? How does it, so many times I've fallen, I had to get back up. had to trust God, had to keep moving even when it didn't feel good. And so that to me identifies being unstoppable. And so created a community of unstoppable business owners where these are business owners who, man, life has hit them,
Yeah.
you know, divorce, loss, I mean, all the things that you can think of, and they're still going and they're still moving. And so I invite business owners like that into the community. And so I do a lot of, I just did a workshop on prayer and profit, you know, how those two worlds collide. And it was a free workshop, you know what I mean? So I do different things that are paid. You do have to pay for it, but I also, for the community, I'll do different things where it's free and you can grab the information. And my prayer is that you keep coming back for more and for more and for more. And so the Unstoppable community is a community of business owners that are like, you know what, whatever life throws at me, I'm going to still ride this thing out. I'm going to still trust God. I'm going to still believe for, you know, the exceedingly and the abundantly because he's able, you know. And so that's really what the Unstoppable community of business owners are, business owners that refuse to quit.
I think the important thing as you're sharing is being part of a community.
Oh, my gosh.
Holding
Yeah.
each other up, you know.
Yeah.
About to give up, no, you can hang in, and just sharing life experiences.
Absolutely.
Just doing life together.
Absolutely.
Unstoppable way.
Yeah, you know, because as business owners, sometimes it can, they say lonely at the top like it's a cliche, but it can be.
Right.
Everybody doesn't understand entrepreneurship. You know, especially, I'll never forget when I graduated from Ohio State, I went to work for Cardinal Health, and they had it was an 18-month rotational program waiting on me. Graduated at the top 2% of my class out of the Fisher College of Business. So I worked there, and then I decided that it wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I was built to go to college. I was built to work in corporate. Like that's how, you know, my family built me. And so when I decided, before I started my coaching firm, I was a sales director with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I don't know if you remember that.
Pink Cadillac
Pink
days.
Cadillac girl, you know, and I was very successful at it because I understood the corporate ladder in it. And so I got in and I rose to the top, and I drove 4 pink Cadillacs. 7 free cars, 4 pink Cadillacs. I had over 300 customers, 200 consultants. I mean, I had really reached the pinnacle of success. But before that, when I told my family that I was leaving corporate, you know, graduate from Ohio State, 2 business degrees, leaving corporate to run a Mary Kay business.
Right.
They're like, what? Like what? And I'll never forget the day where, you know, I told my dad, and he said, okay, you know, I trust anything that you do. But then later on, my mom told me, he was like, I don't know what she's doing, what she's thinking. And then my granddaddy, he wouldn't even look at me. And you know my grandfather, one of the kindest men walking on earth. But he loved the fact that I graduated from the Ohio State University. I was a Buckeye and had this, you know, these 2 business degrees and. But I had to follow my heart, you know, and so stepping down and stepping up is really what I did. And I had a successful journey in Mary Kay. I mean, my unit in the 14 years of being there in Mary Kay, we sold probably over $5 million worth of retail product. You know, I mentored a lot of people, and I was blessed. You know, I love the company built on God first, family second, and career third, you know, but it was definitely a eye opener, you know, for my family. But that's when I realized that I really wasn't built for corporate like that. You know what I mean? Because I needed the flexibility. I needed to be able to operate in my own creative ideas and, you know, be all the things that the Lord had gifted me to be. And so, you know, I feel like that's also a part of Unstoppable, you know, being able to be an author, being able to be a speaker and travel around the world, being able to, you know, coach clients. I have clients in the Bahamas. I have, you know, all over. And, you know, I'm blessed to be able to do what I do.
You know, speaking of that, how can aspiring entrepreneurs identify their unique gifts and use them to grow a business that aligns with their purpose.
Get my book. You set me up. You set me up.
Oh,
Yeah, get my book, Activating Your Gifts. But I would say really spend time on what it is that you really want to do. Like if you can wake up every day and be excited about what you do, then you're in your thing. You're doing your thing. Like I wake up and I love my clients. I pray for my clients. I love them. I love being able to, the best thing for me where I get the most joy is when I've given them a system or a strategy and I've coached them along the journey and they're doing well. Mm-hmm. You know, I always talk about Lisa with Dos Hermanos because she has done every single thing that I've told her to do. And she's very successful. We're getting ready, because she has me pray over all of her buildings. She's getting ready to build in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, just let me know when we need to get on the road. But I get the most peace, the most joy when I see my clients succeed. Mm-hmm. It's not even about the money. It's about me looking at them and saying, okay, God, thank you. Because you gave me what I needed. You continue to use me as a vessel to be able to give to my clients, you know, and I get the most peace out of that when I know that. And so I would say, get my book, but also step back and say, like, every day that I wake up, can I be excited about speaking? Can I be excited about podcasting? Can I be excited about being even a content creator? I mean, I do all of that, you know? And so that's the first thing, because if you can't be excited every day, even when you don't feel like doing it, even when life is hitting you in the stomach, then that may not be what you should be doing. And so that's what my book, Activating Your Gifts, really helps you with. But I would say the one thing is, if you can wake up and say, I love doing this every day. Yeah. Like you've been doing this for 6 seasons, you said? Yes. Sounds like you love doing it. Oh,
yeah. These are rapid fire, just fun questions.
Okay.
So one thing, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice about entrepreneurship and faith, what would it be?
I would say give myself a little grace, a little bit more grace. Yeah, I am not a perfectionist, but I could be hard on myself when things don't go the way that I want them to go. Give myself a little bit more grace and enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. You know, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 24 and I'm 45, not saying as old, but I mean, I've been in this industry for a while, and I would say enjoy the ride. Yeah.
What's one habit or ritual that contributes the most to your success?
My faith and prayer, you know, if I didn't have faith, I don't even know if I would be, you know, operating where I'm at, because business is not always great. And there are seasons where your clients may not show up the way you want them to, and revenue may not always be the best. But my faith in God, knowing my purpose, knowing that I'm doing exactly what He desires for me to do, but what I enjoy doing, I think has just truly kept me.
Awesome. You know, as we come around the corner, this is a legacy podcast.
Yeah.
You've truly built a legacy in business and ministry. What do you want your lasting impact to be?
You know, I am right now with my boys. My youngest, Xavier, he just turned 5. My oldest, Brandon, he's 16 and he'll be 17. And, you know, we're thinking about college and all the things. But for them, I'm actually building businesses for them right now. Even my 5-year-old, you know, I have his website, URL, his name, getting ready to get their LLCs, getting ready to do all those things. And so my legacy is for my family, for my children to know that they're unstoppable and it's no limit to what it is that they can do. And don't let anyone put you in a box. Continue having their faith and trust in God. Both of them have a calling on their life. And so when people look at me and they look at my legacy, I want them to know that they're unstoppable. I want them to know that it's okay to intertwine God in their business, and whoever doesn't like it, who cares? I want people to know by looking at me, it's okay to be authentically you. Being authentic is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And I want them to pray. Like, my biggest thing is for them to pray over their business. I want that to be at the top of the top for them. Right. You know, I think about Daniel, how often Daniel prayed. I want my clients to do that. I want them to get so connected in prayer that every piece of business is guarded by prayer, every piece of business that they do. And so I want to be known as a mompreneur. I want to be known as a kingdompreneur and as a business coach that really loved her clients.
Wow. Well, for the audience, what an incredible conversation with Shaniece Wise, a true example of what it looks like to walk in faith,
Amen.
lead with excellence, and build a legacy that lasts. If something she said today spoke to you, and I'm sure a lot of it spoke to you, but you can't get it all, so you got to make sure you connect with her at ShanieceMwise.com.
Yes.
And grab her latest book and other books on that site as well. Here at Be a Baller, we believe success is more than just what we achieve. It's about what we leave behind. So keep pushing, keep believing, and keep building a legacy one decision at a time.
Amen.
I'm your host, Coach Tim Brown, reminded that you are created to be great, to be bold, and be a baller. Lastly, since it's family, I'll just close with this.
Okay.
I want to just thank you for just being that example.
Oh,
just being that
praise
example,
God.
being that motto, being that, and you use the word consistency.
Yeah.
And you've always been consistent. You know, whatever you see, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And consistency is excellence. So consistency is doing things the right way with integrity. And I'm so glad that God got a hold of you. You know, that you answered that call. And I'm praying that the Lord will use you in ways that you don't have no idea how God's going to use you at the next level, because you're at a certain level, but there's another level with God that He has for you. So I want to thank you for doing that and just being a part of the family. So just a blessing to have this time with you, and thanks for being on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, the dream, Dave, the dream. That's where the magic happens.